Yeah, Claudio, what'd you think from high above the Pepperdine campus? What a day we have had today.
It's been fascinating. It's been across the board. I think we've seen so many wonderful thought leaders across a variety of industries and sub-industries. I think, there's just so much technology that is empowering new business models. And I think we've seen data. We delivered on our promise, which was to look at how data and analytics are empowering all of these business model and new creativity in business, in every piece of the value chain, from content creation to distribution to and consumer relationship, and thinking about, in some of the breakout groups, we actually talked about some of the challenges and difficulties of managing first party data, which is one of my topics near and dear to my heart. But it's, I just think the whole thing is fascinating, and just want to really thank you, and I want to thank all of the speakers that have very generously put time into this, and was top-notch quality for across the board. So thank you, and thanks to everyone for attending. It's been our pleasure. I really look forward to a time when I think part of this is great, doing this in video, but I still long for the days when you could stop and what you call, grab a weird sandwich and shake somebody's hand and say hello. Hopefully we'll get together in a some portion of this at some point. Won't be all virtual, but I look forward to those days and to continuing this work.
Absolutely. And by the way, speaking of thought leaders, one of our content advisors is also a close friend of both of ours. Eric Iverson's actually here. Eric does a lot of closing recaps for like my IDER annual participant meeting, my Smart Content Summit and whatnot. Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Guy? What a great day.
Yeah, thank you, Eric.
What a great day. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Your Superna thing was amazing.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I have to say I'm actually kind of mad at you because I was looking at the content that we had out here today. It's like I can't be at all of these at the same time. I'm like, I'm on the streaming, going through the D2C sessions, and I'm missing the sports ones. So I know we'll have to figure that out next time. So anyway, good. Thank goodness they're recorded. So I'm going to go back, and those look like amazing sessions. So I can't talk to the ones that I missed, but I think the thing that was really great was that we really hit on really the major themes. I think you did a great job of kind of pulling up some of the right content here. But I think if you look at the beginning of the day, we had kind of the beginning part of the day. I think between Michael Wolff, who I think just nailed it as far as, I mean, the same kind of major trends that we're seeing, but put some really great data and detail behind it. And then kind of that follow up with Nelson, which was some of the economics that we're actually seeing that kind of was more proof points for, why it's really important to pay attention to some of those trends. So I thought those kind of paired off with each other really, really well. I think a couple of the other things that, which was great, which is, we're definitely seeing this huge move to kind of remote and virtual work. And we're seeing that in taking place in a lot of different ways. And so this kind of intersection with what we saw in kind of game tech, kind of entering into kind of whether it's live or kind of traditional media and entertainment is such a big trend. I honestly think this is a bigger trend than maybe even just the World Wide Web, coming to us on top of the internet. I think that this is probably a really big thing. And it's starting to happen, I think, with everyone kind of working remotely over the last year. I think we made a pretty hard pivot. The level of invention, innovation, and openness to these new ways, like this last session that we just had, I mean, I think that just hit the nail on the head as far as like the receptiveness to being able to live in some of these virtual experiences. And so we're seeing that across the board. I'm seeing that across the board. I think that was exactly the right thing for us to do, was kind of to talk about that in a couple different ways. And one of the interesting things I happen to have, it was just by chance, I was in a virtual production stage last night and had a great long conversation with one of the thought leaders at Epic Games, that is the maker of Unreal Engine. And one of the points that we were talking about, and he was bringing up, was actually the work that we do in virtual production is actually the same work that that we're looking at with a lot of the metaverse work. And the reason is that if you think about what we see in kind of this high-end image quality and LED panel walls and being able to do real-time rendering, we could do that for film production at a very high level. And that gives us the kind of that cinematic quality that we expect, the human quality that we're kind of now reaching. And now couple that with kind of where we're seeing with game technology, which may not be at the same realism, and because we have multiple users to kind of manage at the same time and all of that, those two things are they're getting close. they're getting close. And his perspective was really, it's the same thing. So anyway, there was great that there was some really great sessions there on kind of next generation visual effects, post-production, what's happening there kind of in the middle of the day. It's some really great partner presentations. I love that. Some great conversations on experience that we just heard that from there. But I would say like Jenny's presentation, you know, what they've been doing on ad tech and experience and what they're doing. And that was one of the best ad tech presentations I may have ever seen in 30 minutes. Really kind of thoughtful, going through the details on it. So Perda, I think the level of precision in their strategy, and that to me was like recipe for success on how to go to direct to consumer. Such great advice, I think, that kind of came out of that. And I think the one thing that was nice about this whole entire program was that how we kind of tied it all together. Every single of the panelists, every single presenter tied it together with data, which is that feedback loop that allows us to work backwards from our audience, from our customers, and really understand what it is that they're trying to do so that then we can kind of take ourselves to that next generation of innovation. So you can sense over the course of the day that feedback loop that we're getting from this great data sets that we're getting, even at a very micro level coming off of the direct to consumer, at a macro level when we're looking at have much better views on what kind of content that we should produce and source when we look at it from an audience level. I just thought it was a perfect day.
I think it's analogous to the momentum that we're seeing in our industry and basically around the world, tying data to things that we never thought were possible to tie data to, and also understanding the results as you look at that data and pivoting and making those data informed decisions. I think it was perfect. Claudio, I don't think we're ever going back. I think we're just going to keep.
There's no going back. There's no going back. There's no going back.
That's great. Well, then, no, Eric, that was beautifully said and really nice wrap up. Thank you.
Well, Claudio, it has been a pleasure working with you on this show. And thank you so much to our content advisors from Pepperdine, obviously, but also to our sponsors. Thank you to our attendees who spent time with us today. These will all be available for everybody to consume and socially distribute however. But ultimately, it's been a pleasure. And I look forward to our next EES, Entertainment Evolution Symposium, when that might be.